Services are slowly getting back to normal in Calais this morning after a day of strike action by ferry workers caused chaos. Queuing lorries and cars are all targeted by migrants trying to find a way across the channel.
And we are hearing this morning that they are still targeting those lorries. The Home Office says it will step up security at Dover and will continue to work with France to deal with the increasing number of migrants trying to enter Britain. The former head of UK Border Force, Tony Smith, joins us now from London. Morning to you. Thanks very much for joining us. In your experience, have you ever seen anything like what's going on in the last few days?
Not quite like this, Louise. There have been problems in the past with incursions in and around the port of Calais over the years. We've been there now for over a decade. But I mean, I think what the main difference here is, of course, there's this huge number now, over 3,000 migrants in and around the port who are sort of roaming freely into the main lanes into the port, and as you can see from your pictures, targeting vehicles, both freight vehicles and passenger vehicles, unfortunately, trying to access the port of entry, and that is a serious problem.
And we heard this morning from one of our reporters that they've moved the line, as it were, where they are checking lorries. How effective will that be?
Well, there's a tiered approach already to search as you enter the port. Already the French authorities have a comprehensive search mechanism at the entry to the port, but that's not foolproof. And then you have the Border Force Control Zone, where we target ourselves with our own search teams, further vehicles. And then finally you've got the burst side teams with the dog teams, where they're sort of running up and down, checking for any last-minute incursions. So there is already a tiered process in place. But the difference here, of course, is that without proper law and order around the port, and with your, people just being able to access stationary vehicles, then the risk is much greater for us. And
just tell us, I mean, so you were part of the force checking vehicles. How are they checked?
Oh, there's a huge amount of technology available, and we've just invested in more of that. I mean, there are CO2 detectors for soft-sided vehicles, heartbeat detectors which can kind of spot people moving inside vehicles, and the dog teams as well. So there's a range of techniques available, of course, but no border in the world is absolutely perfect, and some of the concealments we're seeing are really deep concealment inside the fabrics of the vehicles and into the loads, which are really quite difficult. And obviously we're going to cause further delays as we intensify searches.
Yeah, so you talk about delays, also the difficulties for everybody involved in this situation. What do you think could make it better?
Well, I mean, we do need to work with the French authorities, and I understand the French police have committed to us that they will put more police into Calais, because essentially law and order around the port of Calais, this is France, is a matter for them. All we can do is continue to ensure that we properly resource our teams, our flexible response teams, both in Calais and in Dover, to make sure that we do all we can to stop any further incursions into UK territory.
Do you see, as it is at the moment, there will be sort of an ongoing impact?
Well, I mean, the problem, Louise, is that, there's huge illegal migration coming into the EU, isn't there? I mean, we've got 100,000 detections, rescue operations on the Mediterranean Sea, 6,000, I understand, in 2 days alone in this month. And, of course, those people are being brought into Italy. Now, there aren't any borders in mainland Europe, and the Italians have already said, as have the Greeks and the Hungarians recently, they can't really cope with these numbers. And so, they're being released into the communities and drifting north and moving up towards the UK border. Now, we do still have a border with France, and we have got juxtaposed control. So strategically, we're in a good position. It's just important that we maintain that position.
Tony Smith, former head of UK Border Force, now a border security consultant. Thank you.